He comes from a very tiny town in the Northwest. But see why Browns QB Derek Anderson is not the most famous face in Scappoose, Oregon. Coming up. Is Derek Anderson the biggest surprise of the NFL season? And with Brady Quinn in Cleveland, Mort dives into the Browns' quarterback dilemma.
Back we go to that game. Week 1, as we talked about earlier, Charlie Fry was at quarterback as Cleveland looked horrendous against arch rival Pittsburgh. Brady Quinn biding his time. Then there was Derek Anderson. He looked interesting in a couple of starts last season. Fry immediately traded to Seattle. Quinn remained a bit green. Romeo Crennel, Anderson, give it a shot. Derek's been nothing short of a big hit in a big football town, Cleveland. But as ESPN.com's Greg Garber reports, maybe some of his success is due to the fact that he's never really left his hometown in Oregon.
Scappoose, Oregon. Population 5,840. A 2.5 square mile town named by the Chinook Indians for its gravelly plains.
Small town, 20 minutes west of Portland. Not a lot going on there. And it's a real small, close-knit community.
A community that gathers every Sunday to watch their native son, Derek Anderson, play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
How much of Scappoose shaped the person that you've become?
A lot of it. You know, the community has always, been real supportive, but kind of just laid back too. That's kind of how I am.
I know Derek as just being like kind of just wild and crazy and just silly. His guy friends, they play poo dollar. That's when when you take a pile of dog poop and you put it under a dollar, and they'd videotape, people picking it up outside the grocery store, just stuff like that.
Sara Jean Underwood, not Derek Anderson, might hold the title of most famous Scappoosian.
I grew up with Derek pretty much all my life. He was a grade older than me. He started dating one of my good friends who was in my grade, Lisa, who he eventually ended up marrying.
Underwood is the 2007 Playboy Playmate of the Year. She and Anderson both attended Oregon State University, and in 2005, Underwood was featured on the cover of the magazine in a painted-on Beavers jersey, a tribute to her childhood friend.
So was she the most famous person from Scappoose, would you say?
Probably. Nobody wants to look at me in that magazine.
Who do I think is the more famous Scappoosian? I don't think that I'm famous, so I have to say Derek. Derek to me is the real star.
After an up-and-down career at Oregon State, Anderson was drafted in the 6th round in 2005 by the Baltimore Ravens. That September, he was waived and signed by Browns GM Phil Savage.
There's a quiet confidence sometimes when you come from a country town, and maybe he has some of that.
He kind of keeps everything calm, cool, and collective. He cracks a joke to keep everybody from getting tight, and we kind of roll with how he's feeling.
The tighter the game, the looser he is, and I think that's a great quality to have.
If you get tight and you start, second-guessing things, I've realized that I play better when I, stay in my loose, but aggressive still body, I guess.
He's got a laugh. If you guys could ever get a laugh on television.
You're not going to make me do this, are you?
Can you give me a rough?
And that's the Derek Anderson laugh.
Back in the gravelly plains of Scappoose, it's game time at the varsity, and all eyes are on Derek Anderson, him probably leading the Browns toward the playoffs. Scappoose, Oregon.
I'm a Scappoosian.
It's where Derek Anderson comes from.
I'm a Scappoosian.
And it's who Derek Anderson is.
We are Scappoosians!
All Browns fans out there in Scappoose. The area near Scappoose, Oregon, recently was hit with devastating floods. You may have seen Derek Anderson partnered with Nike to donate $50,000 worth of clothing for those affected by the flooding. Attaboy. Of course, the Cleveland Browns, when you talk about quarterbacking in the Romeo Cornell era, 2005 between Trent Dilfer and Charlie Fry. Touchdowns, interceptions, almost a dead heat, which, Coach, you can tell us is never the way to go. 2006 with Charlie Fry and then Derek Anderson. Derek looked interesting there for a while, but had more picks than touchdowns. So, and you see what Fry did. So the fact that this season has gone like this with Anderson 26-14 is just, he really has come from nowhere. From Scappoose, our Steve Young weighs in on the big guy from Oregon.
All right, a lot of angst in Cleveland about the quarterback situation. I don't know why. Derek Anderson is the real deal. Everyone in the organization knows it. I certainly feel that way. He's going to be around for a long time. Should you deal him? Absolutely not. Brady Quinn is not costing you a ton of money. He needs to learn. What's wrong with having 2 quality quarterbacks on your football team? There are so many teams in this league that have 0 quality quarterbacks. The Cleveland Browns can ensure that they will be a great team well into the future by keeping them both.
All right, Steve, thank you. Mort, let's bring you in on this. What do the Browns now do with that quarterback situation?
Well, Steve is right. Although there is no angst in the Cleveland organization because they're thrilled. They do believe that Derek Anderson is the real deal. Now, as long as he doesn't stumble badly down the stretch here, they actually intend to sign him to a long-term contract. If they don't get that done, he's due to be a restricted free agent. They'll put what they call a tender, highest tender on him. It would take a first and third round draft pick to get him possibly on an offer sheet. And at the same time, they still have no intention of trading him. Remember, Brady Quinn. They've only guaranteed Brady Quinn $8 million over the next 5 years because he was just the 22nd pick in the draft. So they're not worried about this situation at all, Boom.
Plus, as we've seen, just to assume that one guy is going to be Brett Favre and start for 15, 16, 17 years, it doesn't go that way. What, Derek Anderson, is he the biggest surprise of the year? I mean, he did come from nowhere. What do you think, Emmett?
Boom, for me, he is the biggest surprise out of all the people that we've seen this season because, number one, he has truly taken advantage of an opportunity. And I call it an opportunity because this is a rare opportunity when you get a chance to start as a quarterback and then lead your team to an 8-5 record and possibly a playoff berth.